need to?
No, they got theirs plugged up to the malt box, but I don't have the right piece that'll help me there.
Sorry about that. Appreciate it. All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Castle and Key, where we are hosting this week's Team Kentucky Update. In a moment, I'm going to talk about how special this location is and why we're here today. But every Team Kentucky Update, we start the same way, talking about the red-hot economy in Kentucky and about how we are on our biggest, best economic development win streak ever. And let me tell you, today has been a great day that helps that move forward. Today, the Kentucky Economic Development Finance Authority has approved 10 more new location and expansion projects across the state, which will total $1.1 billion in additional investment in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. These projects will create approximately 529 new good-paying jobs for Kentuckians, meaning 529 families that will have more opportunities for their kids and their grandkids and their great-grandkids. I want to kick off today's Team Kentucky Update with a company that is investing $85 million in creating 31 new quality jobs in Henderson, Kentucky. Hydro Aluminum Metals USA. This investment will see Hydro expand its current Henderson facility, which announced a previous expansion in 2021. This will allow the company to bring new technologies and better serve the automotive market's needs. It is exciting to see Hydro make its second big new investment in just a couple of years and to bring this innovative technology to Kentucky. We want to thank them for continuing to believe in us. And this morning, I got to hear about how they contribute to their Western Kentucky community. This is a special company that makes sure they give back and is improving the lives of our families. So today, I want to invite Ivan Kalevic, who is the CEO, as well as my old friend Duncan Pittsburgh, who is the president, and I can say my old friend because you are older than me, up here to talk a little bit about this great announcement. A little bit.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Governor.
Thank you, Governor. It's a good day for economic development, and it's a good day for economic development here in the Commonwealth. And it's also a good day for the Henderson County. It's a great day for our 65 Hydro team members at the Henderson plant. And we are really pleased to make this investment, advancing aluminium production and recycling right here in the Commonwealth. With 32,000 people, 32,000 employees in more than 40 countries around the world, Hydro is a global leader in aluminium production. And we're active throughout the entire value chain. But despite the fact that we are located in Norway, our largest employment footprint is here in the United States. We are close to 7,000 employees across roughly 30 different manufacturing sites. Some of these plants we have been acquiring over time, but the first one we built was right here in Henderson back in 1999-2000. In fact, we've been in the Commonwealth for more than 30 years. This is really where we opened up our first aluminium trading facility back in the early 1990s. Aluminium, or aluminum, as we should call it, is visible in all our daily lives. From the drink that you have in your favorite beverage can, from the door when it opens in your local grocery store, or the ladder that you may use when you change the light bulbs in your house. These are all important components for aluminum, but those that you don't see is really the ones that are most exciting for us, and to the team we have in Henderson. Now, if you have a car that is less than 10 years old, the odds are in favor that your front bumper is made of aluminum, and that it was made by Hydro. These and other structural parts in the cars and the trucks that we see around us are increasingly having more aluminum inside. Both the Motor Trend Truck of the Year and the Car of the Year for 2022 contain some of these parts, made from aluminum, but it's made from aluminum made right here in the Commonwealth and right at our Henderson plant. And those two vehicles are prime examples of the change going on in the world around us, the electrical vehicle revolution. And I know, Governor, that this is a revolution that you worked hard on to get based here in Kentucky. Because aluminum is a key part of that revolution, because it's lightweight, it's corrosion resistant, and you can form it into very, very complex shapes. And aluminum is really the material of choice for the key structural elements also around the batteries in these cars. We were pleased back in 2022 to announce together with you our first significant reinvestment in the Henderson plant since its construction. That was a nearly $15 million investment supported by KEDFA and the Commonwealth to secure new and advanced processing equipment to serve the new and demanding products for the automotive sector. And I'm really happy and proud on behalf of the organization to announce that this project is now nearly complete. Equipment will be commissioning next month, well ahead of the original schedule. And at that time, Governor, you challenged us. You told us you would like to see more, and I'm very pleased to be here today to say that we will announce to do quite a bit more. Because this is an $85 million investment, which, by the way, is actually the first new investment I've been able to do as the new CEO of the company.
Good choice.
And this will add an entire new production line to the plant and bring to North America the revolutionary high forge production technology used to produce aluminum suspension components in electrical vehicles, as well as other automotive applications. And it's really another step along our journey to change the game for aluminium production. We recycle more end-of-life scrap, we reduce emissions in the product that we produce, and we are delivering new cutting-edge products to the market. And we are creating a greener advantage through this, made right here in Kentucky. And best of all, we will add some 31 new team members to the Henderson plant. And that's really important for me. We are really proud of the employment history we have at Henderson. We have run this plant for 24 years. We have not had any layoffs during this period, not even through the COVID crisis. More than half of the team has been with us for more than 10 years. And in fact, we have many members who's been with us since the plant opened, many of them starting as operator on the floor, and today sits in the management team of the plant. And we really hope that this new production line will have a new generation to continue this tradition, or as we say in Hydro, we hire to have people to retire at the end of their career. So on behalf of Hydro and our team in Henderson, thank you so much for the continued support. And I will get the opportunity to come back and make additional investments in the Commonwealth also in the future. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you once again to Hydro. When you are a new CEO and this is your first investment, we bring you to a big distillery, get you a big crowd, and make sure we can make the investment the right way. I also want to highlight the United States Playing Card Company, which is expanding in Erlanger and creating 10 new full-time jobs. The U.S. Playing Card Company, located in the Commonwealth in 2008 and never looked back, continually investing and growing in the Northern Kentucky region. It's a leader in manufacturing the top playing card brands, so if many of you enjoy playing any of a number of games, you are probably using their brands. They include Bee, Bicycle, Aviator, and Hoyle, among others. The new positions will include production technicians and machine operators, as well as roles in engineering, customer service, sales, and production planning. The added jobs from the project will bring the company's total Kentucky employment to 205. I got to spend some time with senior executives from this company at the Oaks. They love their Kentucky home, and we are appreciative that they continue to invest. Now, 8 other projects today got approval from KEDFA, bringing today's totals to 10 projects, $1.1 billion, and 529 new full-time jobs. Official announcements will come as these other projects are finalized, but projects that received approval today include Ascend Elements, Inc., which will invest another $556 million in Christian County, the Bardstown Bourbon Company, which is investing $23.3 million in Nelson County, Ford Motor Company, which has a proposal of a $400 million investment in Shelby County that will create 260 new jobs. Jerry's Resharp Inc., which is proposing a $545,000 investment, creating 15 jobs in Muhlenberg County. JQOL Inc., which has a proposed $6.5 million project, which creates 113 new jobs in Jefferson County that pay $59.15 per hour. The Kentucky Whiskey Company, we're at a distillery. Do you get a theme here? Proposing another $5 million investment in Ohio County. Woodshed Beverage LLC DBA Barrel House Distilling, another $1.6 million investment, 25 full-time jobs in Harrison County. And Wurtland Oil Works LLC, which is investing $25 million and creating 75 good jobs in Greenup County. With these new investments, we continue to shatter every record that's been out there. Now with a record $31.7 billion of new investments in the last 4.5 years alone. That is, as I said before, that's a record for any governor, one term or two, and I call my father and tell him that virtually every night. But these have come with 53,300 new jobs. I also want to make sure we talk about that program, the KPDI program that keeps this going. When we talk to companies, we talk about speed to market. We talk about us being build ready and not just shovel ready. So today, we did more work to bring more sites up to being shovel ready. Today, KEDFA approved 5 counties had received KPDI awards. These projects total over $5.7 million in state fundings, and the sites are in Garrett, Harrison, Jessamine, and Woodford counties. They're amongst the latest approvals for the second round. I know we got our Woodford County judge here today. Congratulations, James. We also approved a regional project that's located in Clay County, but has support from Knox and Leslie County. So to date, round 2 of the program has seen over $27.5 million in state funding. Remember, this program is about making sure that prosperity reaches every part of the Commonwealth with no counties left out. When we think about the biggest investment in our history coming to Glendale, Kentucky, it didn't happen by accident. It was decades of investment by state and local governments and so many others. This program, coming to these counties, makes sure that we are investing so that each and every county can have their own Glendale, because what we've seen is for the first time in my lifetime, jobs are coming to people instead of expecting people to come to jobs. This is our best chance to make sure that we get good employment opportunities in every single part of the state. And you've got my commitment in my last 3 years, 6 months, and a couple of days that I'm going to run as hard and as fast as I can to create as many of these opportunities for our families. So, today we are not in the Capitol. We are at Castle and Key Distillery. So I want to thank Will, Brett, and the distillery, and all the tourism leaders from across Kentucky who are joining us today. We've got some really great news for this industry and for the entire Commonwealth of Kentucky. It's no secret. People like coming to Kentucky, and I can't blame them. We have got the best people and the most amazing experiences. Some will tell you where we are right now. Castle and Key is the birthplace of bourbon tourism. When the legendary E.H. Taylor founded this beautiful place more than a century ago, making this castle and these gardens more than a distillery, it was a destination. These grounds first served as a distillery in early 1819, and the iconic castle has stood proudly since 1887. Let's thank Castle and Key for hosting us today. Today we'll be celebrating tourism, but in the Commonwealth, we celebrate it every day. Just last month, I was in Northern Kentucky with Julie Kirkpatrick and her team at Meet NKY, celebrating the 25th anniversary of Kentucky's first tourism development project, the Newport Aquarium. It has been excited to see how it's grown over the last 25 years, welcoming nearly 20 million visitors. Another tourism initiative that attracts travelers from around the world turns 25 this summer. Come on in. Our very own Kentucky Bourbon Trail. What began with 7 distilleries has now expanded to 46 and attracted over 2 million visitors each year. So today I can announce, to mark this milestone, the Kentucky Distillers Association will introduce a new brand identity that is modern, adventurous, and reflective of the new offerings on the Bourbon Trail. They'll also launch a new digital experience that will allow visitors to build their own bourbon trail based on how they want to experience the world's best bourbon. We'll be looking forward to that. So today is about tourism. Tourism is essential to Kentucky. It's an industry filled with amazing leaders. It's an industry that brings joy to families across the world and across Kentucky, including my own. But it also brings good jobs. It boosts our economy, and it supports our local communities. And the folks that fuel this industry work really hard to ensure success for all of us. We saw that last year when we announced that 2022 was the best year for tourism in the history of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. We shared that the economic impact numbers had shattered every previous record, and we celebrated that day at Crank and Boom. What a day it was. And I want to thank Crank and Boom and their owner and staff who came back to be with us again today. And thank you for making really delicious ice cream that both I and my family thoroughly enjoy. My administration and I recognize how important this industry is, which is why Team Kentucky makes tourism a priority. We've invested millions of dollars to help these leaders grow to new heights. Since I took office, our administration has invested over $88 million in state and federal funds to support local growth, attract meetings and conventions, and boost destination marketing efforts. And we are seeing success here, across our state, breaking record after record. Last year, we announced the state had broken the all-time record for our tourism tax credit program. That was a bill passed by Rocky Atkins. Let's thank him for that work. We don't have to thank him that much. Last year, we had 9 projects, once operational, will generate an estimate $292.1 million in economic investment a year and create 550 new jobs. Last year, the state preliminarily approved 7 other development projects, and we've approved more this year. That initial tourism development investment doesn't happen without the people behind me and many who are watching. It takes vision, it takes dreams, and it takes action. More than anything, it takes hard work and a love for the Commonwealth of Kentucky. When you look at what we're doing, we're not looking at the same Kentucky anymore. Thanks to the work of everyone here, we're welcoming people to our new Kentucky home, one filled with opportunity and prosperity, where we want you to come see what we have to offer, and then we want you to move your family here to be a part of it. Kentucky is on that biggest economic winning streak we've ever been on, and today we get to announce that the numbers are in, and 2023 was officially the best year in Kentucky's history for tourism's economic impact. We're going to give you some numbers. The new Tourism Economic Study report that last year tourism generated more than $13.8 billion in economic impact. That is a huge, brand new record that we ought to see as a challenge because we're already in the midst of 2024. And even better, Kentucky's tourism industry sustained 95,222 Kentucky jobs. Visitor volume increased 4.5%, and that is over our best year ever. Kentucky welcomed 79.3 million travelers. That is 3.4 million more than our previous best year. And as tourists came in and visited our businesses and attractions, they spent $9.7 billion that stayed in our communities. Here in Kentucky, we have it all, and those numbers back it up. The success was seen in every community across the Commonwealth, as you can see this excitement. Lots of communities saw big wins, including some that are here today. Jefferson County reached $4.2 billion in economic impact, generating more than 27,200 jobs. Fayette County, we can clap for Fayette County hit $1.6 billion in economic impact with 11,500 jobs. Warren County brought in $477 million in economic impact, more than 4,000 jobs. McCracken County, Duncan, I'm doing this for you, $319 million in economic impact, more than 2,400 jobs. And combined, Boone, Campbell, and Kenton counties, and the roughly 1,000 cities that are within those three counties, $2.1 billion in economic impact, 12,800 jobs. So I often say we are on the biggest, best economic development roll of our lifetimes. We are also on the biggest, best tourism roll of our lifetime here in Kentucky. And while when you're governor, you get to make the announcement. It's the people behind me and so many others that make it happen. Leaders and their dedicated teams at the convention and visitors bureaus, including some who are here today, like Elena Blevins at the Marshall County Tourist Commission. Kenny Etherton at the Fulton County Tourism. McLean Lessenberry at the Barron County Tourism. Randy Clark, who hosted the Appalachian Regional Commission, head of Ashland's Tourism. And Jeremiah Parsons at Paintsville Tourism, and so many more. Thank you all. From our strong bourbon distilleries to our small business owners who are investing in Kentucky, to our hotel clerks and our staffs at attraction and restaurants, this success is your success. It doesn't happen without every single person, every single worker, no matter how big or small you think your job is, doing your best to welcome people to Kentucky. Y'all are the people welcoming these travelers into our state, and you are helping them create unforgettable memories and keep them coming back to the Commonwealth. So I want to say thank you. Now, we're going to hear from a number of our tourism officials, starting with Lindy K. Spear, our Cabinet Secretary.
Thank you, Governor. This is indeed a perfect venue and a perfect day to celebrate this incredible tourism impact in 2023. With its beauty and bourbon, Castle and Key is symbolic of Kentucky tourism. Travelers from across the state, the country, and around the world travel off the beaten path to visit this amazing place. Just today, I ran into some folks from Johannesburg, South Africa, who were here. Spending money. And Governor, one of them had been made a Kentucky Colonel by you.
He needs to spend a lot of money.
Our distilleries, our beautiful landscapes, Kentucky hospitality, and our Kentucky State Parks, who are celebrating their 100th anniversary this year, are just a few reasons why the Commonwealth attracts new and repeat visitors. It is no surprise that, as the Governor shared, that tourism generated over $13.8 billion in economic impact over the last year, along with over 95,000 jobs. Kentucky tourism is thriving thanks to the leadership of Governor Beshear, the public and private investment, the hard work of local communities, and the world-class destinations that welcome visitors to the Commonwealth. For his steadfast support of Kentucky tourism, Governor Beshear deserves our thanks. How about a round of applause? Today's numbers demonstrate just how important tourism is to our economy and the impact created by local operators and businesses. Tourism is economic development, creating jobs, investment, and improving the quality of life for all of our citizens. As a $13 billion industry, tourism serves as a major economic engine for our rural and our urban communities. As the governor has mentioned, thank you to our partners who stand behind us and their many contributions. Their work on our behalf of local tourism every day, all day, every day, is critical to the overall success that we celebrate here today. Let's show them our appreciation. I would like to acknowledge our Tourism, Arts, and Heritage staff, the Department of Tourism, Deputy Secretary Sebastian Kitchen, and all of our folks that are in our cabinet that help us fulfill this mission on a daily basis. We could not do it without you. Thank you for your passion, your hard work, and all that you do to promote and advance the Commonwealth. Now it's my privilege to introduce the man who is behind the Tourism Department, Commissioner Mike Manget.
Thank you, Governor and Secretary Beshear. You know, when you speak at an event like this following the governor, it reminds me of my high school basketball career when I was in what we called the 20-20 club. I went in when we were 20 up or 20 down with 20 seconds left. Not much I can add, but I'm really glad to be here, so thank you for that, Governor. One of the traits of tourism is whenever you go to an attraction, you always check out the license plates in a parking lot. And in the short walk here from the parking lot, there were 12 states represented, from as far away as North Dakota, Illinois. That's not very far away, is it? But you get my understanding. There's so many people that tourism brings in. And we are thrilled to break another economic impact record thanks to this administration's investments and the hard work of our staff and the local tourism partners that you see behind me. The effect tourism has on our communities across the state, as you've heard, is significant and essential. With no plans to slow down, we look forward to building on this success and are excited to support the new tourism initiatives launching this year. I would also like to echo the Governor and Secretary Beshear in recognizing these incredible tourism industry partners from across the state who are with us today, as well as the thousands of leisure and hospitality industry workers who make up the backbone of our industry. It never fails. Every time we're talking with visitors, we hear over and over how friendly and helpful the people they meet are, and in many cases, they are referring to the professionals who make up our tourism industry. Tour guides, restaurant workers, hotel desk clerks, and so many others. These are our frontline ambassadors for the state. They are often the first touch point for the majority of visitors to Kentucky, and they play a huge role in the success of our industry. I would also like to recognize specifically the staff of the Kentucky Department of Tourism and extend a huge thank you for their efforts. The people who work every day, often behind the scenes, promoting Kentucky as a premier tourism destination. Please join me in a round of applause for our staff and our tourism industry partners. As I close, I will say, Governor, challenge accepted. We're going to try and knock 2024 out of the park as well. I will now turn this over to Hank Phillips, President and CEO of the Kentucky Travel Industry Association.
I'll pick up on Mike's starting point about following speakers to say that you've now heard everything there is to hear, but you haven't heard from everybody who has to say it. So, bear with me. This is such a perfect, special day for tourism. And that means it's a special day for all Kentuckians. Because as we know, when tourism succeeds, Kentuckians benefit. They benefit from the economic vitality that tourism provides, the jobs that it creates, and the services that families receive that are funded by the tax revenue generated by tourism. So today, as we gather here today to celebrate, all Kentuckians can also celebrate tourism's success. And picking up on a point that the governor made, it is no coincidence that these 2 years of record-breaking tourism results coincide with the highest level of support, funding that this industry has received in its history. And for that, we have several people and groups to thank, starting with Governor Beshear for your help, for your support. You need to know that our tourism colleagues in other states are very envious of many things about Kentucky, but one of those is that we have a tourism governor. I also want to give credit and appreciation to the General Assembly. Legislators have come to realize that tourism benefits every single legislative district, and we appreciate their support. And Secretary Caspear, Commissioner Manget, with these additional funds, they have made wise and effective investments while they and their teams have done the hard work of developing, distributing, and overseeing the funds that have flowed out to the entire state. Then there's the driving force in our celebration today, and that's the folks standing behind me. That's those of you from the industry out front and all of those back home. Last year's nearly 80 million visitors did not get to Kentucky on their own. And the memories they took back with them, back home with them, they didn't occur just on their own. It took an entire industry to make those things happen. An industry that includes our destination marketing organizations, many of whom are standing back here behind us. Without our destination marketing organizations, most of those visitors would have taken their trips and their money to that dreaded other destination called not Kentucky. Y'all thought I was going to say Tennessee, didn't you? We have our wonderful array of memory-making attractions that are a crucial, essential part of our industry. And then there's all of our service providers, our hotels, our restaurants, our retailers, our marinas, our event venues, our transportation providers. That is Kentucky's tourism industry. It's an army. You all are an army of businesses and organizations made up of hardworking professionals who are passionate about Kentucky. This is an industry that has done good for Kentucky for decades upon decades. In the past 2 years, and especially this past year, our industry has demonstrated that with the kinds of resources we've had available, we can definitely go from good to beyond great. And on behalf and for the benefit of all Kentuckians. So go Team Kentucky. It's now my pleasure, and take a deep whiff. I love mash. It's now my pleasure to introduce from Castle and King Distillery their head blender, Brett Connors.
Yeah, thank everybody for coming out today. I've been sampling, so we're going to see how the speech goes. I mean, sensory evaluation or organoleptic evaluation is the technical term for that. But yeah, no, I feel in a lot of ways Castle and Key has the opportunity to be humbled, to be a great representative of the tourism industry for such an important celebration in a lot of ways. You know, I think for ourselves, we're a really wonderful case study of what collaboration looks like amongst the industry, along with our tourism partners. You know, when I started with Castle and Key, I was the 4th employee about 8 years ago. It's not a big team. Economic impact, I think me and Will, we're gonna rock out like a barrel a day in the old boiler room. Not a huge economic impact. But as a result of the state and local support that we've received and advocacy at those levels, we've been able to reevaluate our business case to grow to over 150 employees, north of 36,000 barrels of whiskey a year in production, and a massive economic investment. I remember when I first met Will, the plan was to spend about $3 to $5 million, and I think we overshot that a little bit. But I think in a lot of ways it's also demonstrative of what the bourbon industry as a signature industry in Kentucky has been able to grow and achieve. You know, for me, bourbon's this perfect kind of crossroads of hospitality, artistry, industry, and agriculture. And that's also a lot of the other tourism that we see in Kentucky. You know, we have some of the best state parks in the nation. We have some of the best agricultural tourism in the nation. We have some of the best food anywhere, internationally included. So I think the idea that we can get visitors here to appreciate a specific industry that then has this halo effect to spread into our other communities and often be surprised is what we see resonate from our guests and visitors on site. And as a brand, you know, that kind of tourism is really instrumental in a lot of ways because it outperforms your classic marketing. You know, you can spend a lot of money for advertising and you can spend a lot of money for, you know, celebrity endorsements or whatever you choose to spend your money on. But at the end of the day, being able to have a conversation with a guest on site and advocate for our brand and be able to talk to them about our quality and our process and also what Kentucky is as a whole builds, I think, a fan for life. So when you look at your dollars per conversion rates for future consumers, being here on site is our best vehicle. You know, our home place is really a wonderful symbol of our brand as a totality. So, you know, those numbers are amazing. You know, last year was the best year of all time. I've already seen our numbers are even better this year, right? So I think we'll be having this exact same conversation again, hopefully from the exact same place, also with ice cream, also with cocktails. I think those go pretty well together depending on the day. But I think what we find as a whole is that this doesn't happen and we don't have the success that we do without supporters. And having those supporters at the state and local level and also with the different and various tourism cabinets allows us to focus on what we're good at, which is hospitality and making whiskey. So to kind of take that pressure off us from a marketing standpoint and to have visitors flow in the state and advocate for us makes my job a lot easier because then I can just drink at 10 a.m., hang out and talk to you guys, have a pretty good time. But overall, this is also a big credit to our founding partner, Will Arvin, who was standing over here but wanders away. He also probably looking for free whiskey. You know, what I love about Will is Will also had the vision to go all in on a facility that was neglected. You know, I know we're not shy about being like huge advocates for restoration. You know, I think finding the correct sites to reinvigorate and bring business back to a sector, I think is definitely something that I'm really prideful of as a Kentuckian. You know, that we don't just overlook sites that are dormant or neglected, that we put the correct financial, you know, leverage tools behind that to be able to invest in these sectors. You know, this place was really abandoned and neglected for well over a decade. And it could have ended up being nothing, but then having the right partnerships that allowed us to really invest in it in a diligent and appropriate manner to be able to grow such a facility has just been truly a blessing for us and I think our local neighbors as well, hopefully. But yeah, I guess that's just to thank you all for coming out. I know, am I the last? Yeah, thank you all for coming out and yeah, enjoy Castle and Key.
All right. All right, when you're governor, you get to change the agenda a little bit on the fly. If you all stay up here just one more minute. I recognize as we went through this that we heard from a lot of men, but there are a lot of hardworking women in tourism. And just like we welcome everyone in Kentucky, it's important when we celebrate, we're inclusive in how we do that. So if you don't mind me adding a speaker, I've asked Brandy Clark from Ashland to give us a few words.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brandy Clark. I'm the Executive Director of Visit Ashland in Ashland, Kentucky. And it is refreshing to see the momentum and the impact that a newfound focus on tourism has had in our community in Ashland and all of Boyd County. We thank the governor and Rocky and our county government for fighting for us and our city government for fighting for us. And we now have a gaming facility, and soon we'll have a horse racetrack, and we're very excited. So on behalf of all of us and all of us from Eastern Kentucky, we thank you, Governor. And yeah, just come visit Kentucky.
All right, as a final update, earlier this week, Kentucky went through another round of severe storms that hit some of our communities very hard. This storm knocked out power for hundreds of thousands of Kentuckians temporarily and shut down numerous roads, interstates, and caused massive damage to many homes and businesses. We saw one EF1 tornado in Meade County and another that crossed through Butler and Warren counties. I personally saw the impact of an EF3 tornado, which was on the ground about 35 miles through Lyon, Caldwell, and Hopkins counties. We saw straight line wind damage in Grayson, Mercer, Garrett, Logan, and Simpson counties. And today, the National Weather Service is continuing surveys in Barron, Metcalfe, Monroe, Cumberland, and Clinton counties, where at least one additional EF1 tornado has been identified with winds of at least 105 miles per hour. Our Kentucky National Guard, Kentucky State Emergency Management, the Transportation Cabinet, the Energy and Environment Cabinet, the Department for Public Health, the National Weather Service, our Kentucky State Parks, our Division of Forestry, the Red Cross, and so many others immediately jumped into action to help people. Like after all severe weather events, we saw a lot of great people out there doing everything they can to help our people. And like after all of them, we make the same promise that we will get everyone back up on their feet and that we will rebuild. Remember, if a natural disaster takes out 10 homes or 1,000 for each of those families, the impact is the same, and our response needs to help them all. Sadly, we can report that we did lose 5 Kentuckians in the storms. That's 5 Kentucky families who are experiencing heartache and devastation. And I'll announce today that we're going to work to raise the funds to pay for each of those funerals, just like we did after the 2021 tornadoes and the 2022 floods. And the Kentucky Distillers Association has already offered $10,000 to help pay for the first one of those funerals. Thank you to Eric Gregory and the whole group. Those fatalities included one in Mercer County, one in Hardin County, one in Hopkins, one in Jefferson, and one in Caldwell. Some updates: 26 counties and 12 cities have declared states of emergencies. And remember, if you received any damage, it's important that you work through your county judge executive to report it. The collective damage across the Commonwealth will determine if we qualify for that individual assistance that those families in Charleston that were hit hard just north of Dawson Springs, or Barnsley that was hit both by the 2021 tornadoes and Sunday storms, with one homeowner losing their home both times. Think about that, a home you've probably only been in a year where you lose in the exact same location. We're currently down to 9,903 customers without power. That's down from 215,144 at its peak. We opened Pennyrile State Park now for the second time after a natural disaster. They're sheltering 11 households. We have 5 travel trailer units that have gone to Clay County for 5 families who are displaced. The Civil Air Patrol is piloting aerial surveys to capture the images so we can try to get that FEMA help. 7 drinking water systems are under limited operations. 4 sewer systems are under limited operations. I want to thank our transportation crews in so many different areas that have worked so hard. But again, we recognize this was just Sunday, and the damage to these communities, even though they might be smaller communities, are important. And we're going to make sure we do the work to get you back on your feet. In closing today, we've had some really good announcements, and we've recommitted ourselves to helping those who have been impacted. But we end every one of these Team Kentucky updates with our Team Kentucky All-Stars. And today I've got 2 sets. One is our Franklin County Judge Executive, Mike Muller, who earlier this week, after we made it a state executive branch holiday, was the first county to follow us recognizing Juneteenth as a holiday here in Franklin County for its employees. And the second is everyone who works in this tourism industry. From experiences like the Kentucky Durban to the Bourbon Trail to natural wonders like Mammoth Cave and the Moonbow at Cumberland Falls, to places where you can learn about Kentuckians who've changed the world from Abraham Lincoln to Muhammad Ali to many more. This is an incredible place to visit, and this is an incredible place to call home. And it's the perfect time to plan your next adventure because our Kentucky state parks are recognizing their 100th birthday, their 100th anniversary. As we end, let's realize we're all connected. This record-setting economic development would not occur if we weren't a great place to live, and tourism introduces that to everyone. Let's try to continue to figure out how we all work together, whether it's economic development, tourism, or so many other areas, because when we figure out how we can show our very best to people, how we can show them what it's like to visit and to live, it's going to help us continue to grow. Remember, we were number 3 in per capita economic development last year, number 2 the year before. People are talking about this Commonwealth in a totally different way than they did just 4 years ago. This is our time. And we got to make sure that this year is the best ever for tourism, that this year we continue that economic development win streak, but most importantly, that this year we do everything we can to better the lives of Kentucky families. Thank you all very much. Enjoy Castle and Key and enjoy Crank and Boom ice cream.